Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a piece of gaming history, the iconic box art for Ultima Online, created by the legendary artists Tim and Greg Hildebrand. They're the same duo behind some epic fantasy art, like the original Star Wars movie poster and illustrations for some of J.R.R. Tolkien's works. This artwork is packed with monsters, magic, and medieval vibes, so let's break it down and compare it to the actual in-game elements from Ultima Online. Stick around because there's even a sneaky Easter egg that we'll uncover. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more gaming deep dives. Let's get started. First, let's take a look at this stunning piece of art. The scene is chaotic and full of action. A coastal medieval town under siege by all sorts of fantastical creatures. You've got towering castles, a stormy sky with smoke billowing, and a sense of epic adventure. In the foreground, we see humans wielding swords, fighting off monsters like lizard men and a massive dragon. Up in the sky, there's a harpy soaring, and if you look closely, you'll even find a scorpion duking it out with a human. If you look dead center, you'll also see an ogre with a giant club. Magic is clearly at play here with glowing effects and a wizard-like figure casting a spell. This art perfectly captures the high fantasy vibe of Ultima Online, a groundbreaking MMORPG that launched back in 1997 and brought players into the world of Britannia. Let's dive into these elements and see how they stack up to the game itself. Starting with the scorpion. It's got a menacing tail and it looks ready to strike. In Ultima Online, scorpions are a classic enemy, often found in deserts or dungeons. They're not the toughest foe, but their poison can be a real pain for low-level players. Next, let's look at a harpy flying in the sky. In Ultima Online, harpies are winged creatures that you can often encounter as you're roaming about the lands of Britannia. The Hildebrand brothers really nailed the mythical feel of the harpy here, making her look majestic and terrifying at the same time. Moving on to the lizard men. There are a few of them climbing the tower right here in the bottom left corner. These guys are wielding weapons and look ready to storm the castle. In Ultima Online, lizardmen are a staple enemy, often found in swampy areas like the Bog of Desolation. They're humanoid reptiles that can hit hard in melee combat against a weak player. The box art gives them a more detailed, scaly look compared to the game's simpler sprites, but the concept of lizardmen as fierce warriors definitely carries over here. And up here we can see a mage probably casting the fireball spell. The ocean in the artwork really reflects the game's sailing mechanics. Players in Ultima Online can purchase boats from a ship merchant to travel across the seas, explore islands, or even engage in naval combat with creatures like sea serpents. If you look closely, you'll see the ship even has a hold. This is kind of like a bank for the ship. You can use it to hold all of your loot. And of course, we can't ignore the star of the show, the massive dragon on the right side of the art. This fiery beast is breathing flames and looking absolutely epic. In Ultima Online, dragons are some of the toughest creatures you can face. You'll find them in dungeons such as Destard, and they're a real test of your skills, especially if you're trying to tame one as a pet. The dragon in this box art really captures a sense of awe and danger. Let's talk about the humans in this artwork. You've got warriors with swords, some in armor, fighting off the monsters. There's even a group on the tower fending off the lizard men with swords. Down here you can see some warriors fighting off the ogre with some spears. And then here we have a mage using a lightning spell against the dragon. This really reflects the core of Ultima Online's gameplay. Players can be warriors, wielding swords and shields, or take on other roles like archers and mages. The swordplay here is a great nod to the game's combat system, where melee skills like swordsmanship are key for many players. Now check out the magic in this scene. There's a figure in the foreground casting a spell with glowing energy around them. Magic is a huge part of Ultima Online, with a spellcasting system that includes everything from fireballs to summoning creatures. Mages in the game can use reagents like Black Pearl and Mandrake Root to cast spells, and it's one of the most iconic features of the game. The Hildebrand brothers really captured the mystical energy of Britannia here with those vibrant colors and dynamic poses. Now here's something really cool. It's an Easter egg hidden in the artwork. Take a look at the bottom right corner, near the woman hanging out of the window. If you look through the window, you'll see a PC, a computer sitting on the ledge, which is a total anachronism in this medieval fantasy setting. This is such a fun detail by Tim and Greg Hildebrandt, probably a nod to the fact that Ultima Online was a pioneering online game played on PCs back in the late 90s, even up to today. It's a subtle way to bridge the fantasy world of Britannia with the real world tech that made the game possible. I love how they snuck this in. It's like a little time capsule of gaming history. Before we wrap this up, let's give a shout out to Tim and Greg Hildebrandt, RIP, the artists behind this masterpiece. These brothers were legends in the fantasy and sci-fi art world. They created the iconic 1977 Star Wars poster, the one with Luke and Leia holding up their lightsaber and the blaster, which became a cultural phenomenon. They also did some stunning illustrations for J.R.R. Tolkien's works, like calendars and book covers for The Lord of the Rings. Their style is very distinctive, vibrant colors, dramatic compositions, and a sense of epic storytelling. This Ultima Online box art is a perfect example of their talent, and it really set the tone for the game's adventurous spirit. And that's our deep dive into the Ultima Online box art. From scorpions and dragons to magic and swords, this artwork really captures the essence of Ultima Online. Plus, that PC Easter egg is such a fun touch. What do you think of this art? Have you played Ultima Online, and do you have any favorite memories from fighting these monsters? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more gaming content, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep adventuring.